is a little bit dim here. I might get up in a moment and turn on the overhead light. I decided to do a little bit. Let me pivot this light. I have another light here actually too. I need to pivot it a little bit. Yeah, that's a little bit better. It's casting a shadow behind me, but I'm not worried about that, and I'm sure you're not. So what I'm trying to do here, I bought a new cable, a longer one, a 10-foot one, that theoretically was going to connect my, I don't know why I came up with this idea anyway, but I've been thinking about it. I used to shoot a lot on Canon cameras, the T3 series. I started with a T5i, and then I think I went to a T3.4, and I think I went to a T3.5. So I decided to do a little bit of research to try to remember if the T3.5, which I have sitting over here, what I'm doing at the same time, I'm recording a behind the scenes of this live shoot right now. So I'm going to put that up later, just the way it is, it's raw. So I'm going to record again, repeating myself already, a behind the scenes of this live vertical stream I'm doing right now. But anyway, back to the point. I just bought these new cables, and my plan was to try out my Canon T5i as a web camera. I've been looking about a bunch of videos of people who've done it in the past, and when I first connected it, and also I found out that Canon also created a EOS piece of software, and they made a pro version, which they charge for. So I went on and got the paid version, thinking that that was going to be a little bit better than the free version, and so downloaded it, and then again I had to order this new wire because I really never connected my T3Is. They're HD cameras. A lot of you guys probably don't even know what those are, but they're old HD cameras, and I used to use them all the time. So what I did was I took one out, my T5i, and I found out that yes, I could connect it to my laptop using the Canon EOS software. And they made some software called Canon EOS Pro, some name similar to that, Canon EOS Pro software. And it allows you to connect your camera to your laptop or your computer so you can download pictures. And the software, the good thing about the software is they updated it. They made a pro version. And so supposedly the pro version will allow you to use that, your camera, your old camera, as a streaming device. Because the quality on these cameras beats any web camera, hands down. And then you have so much control over the exposure, shutter speed, you know, all this normal stuff you have on a digital camera. So I hooked it up, and the image quality is great. I remember I haven't used it in probably 10 years, and the image quality is still great. The camera works. I'm shooting right now, as a matter of fact, behind the scenes of this live that I'm doing for you guys right now. So I hooked it up. I had downloaded the camera, the Canon EOS Pro software yesterday, and I was all ready. Amazon bought the cables. They also bought, well, basically it was the cables. And they also bought sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. Oh, they also bought one of those new wireless mics that a lot of people are using, and I really like them. I was never a big fan of wireless mics, but about a month ago, I was shooting at this place in Redondo Beach called the Orange Door Spaces, and it's a shooting location for content creators. And so I went down there, I rented it for about a month, and did a bunch of shooting. And a lot of the videos you see that I've done within the last month, they were shot at that location. And I even put myself on display for about 3 or 4 days in the mall. It's a mall location. It actually is, the sets are built in a mall, in a gigantic store. There used to be a store, but now it's a shooting location for content creators. And it's a great idea. It's just so far away from me, and the traffic here in Los Angeles is crazy. But anyway, I shot down there, and I shot a lot of stuff down there. But the reason I'm bringing that up is because the owner of the location, he showed me a cheap digital, I think it works by the same principle as Bluetooth, these new wireless mics, two-person wireless mics that you plug into the bottom of your camera. They work with Android or iPhone, and you plug them right in, and they power the device, and the clip-on mics or have magnets on them, and they can stick right on your shirt and your guest shirt. So they work flawlessly, really good. I mean, the sound is great for streaming. You might need to sweeten it up a little bit, and it's noise isolating, so it works great. So I bought myself one, a newer version. that can connect to my old Canon cameras. I used to be a Canon guy. I used to shoot with Canon T5i, T3i, all the way up to the series. I might have went all the way up to 7, but I have my T5i out right now, and I'm using it to film a behind the scenes of this, which I'm going to put up online on the channel also. But the reason I'm bringing all this up is because I downloaded yesterday the Canon software, the EOS Pro. They made a Pro version, and it can do a lot of stuff. Supposedly it can control the camera, it can control exposure, and also the big thing it can do, it allows you to stream from your older camera over USB and direct to YouTube. So I could open up YouTube Studio. And when I first plugged it in, to my surprise, ta-da, it worked. But about 2 minutes, 3 minutes later, it cut off. And then it wouldn't start back up. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. I invite you to check my channel at the link in the description below. Look at some of my content, look at some of my playlists, and if you like what you see, please subscribe and watch some of this content on my playlist. I appreciate that. Subscribe and watch some of the content on my playlist. But back to the story. So I started going down the rabbit hole. So I thought to myself, let me videotape this as I go deep nuts trying to figure out why this is working. But I did something, and I'm so proud of myself. I did something that probably 10 years ago I couldn't have done. I stopped. I have a lot of work that I need to do that I could be doing right now. And I decided, you know what? Why do you need to spend 5 or 6 hours that I could be doing something else? I could be even sitting on the couch watching Netflix or sitting on the couch watching some documentaries on YouTube. So I was able to stop. And I can't believe it. I'm kind of proud of myself because the image I'm getting right here on this camera, this cell phone that's streaming directly to YouTube, is not as good and not as controllable as the image that I can get on that T5i Canon camera. I don't have the control over the exposure, the aperture, the f-stop, everything that I have control over in that camera. I don't have that control on my phone. But I decided, why am I going to waste 5 or 6 hours trying to troubleshoot this camera when it's not necessary? So again, I just jumped on here to do this little video. If anybody out there has a solution that can tell me if this really works, I watched a few videos from Canon and they say it works, but it did work instantly literally for about 2 minutes. It worked and the image looked great. I would love to have that T5i as my web camera, but I don't want to continue to troubleshoot it every day. And that's something that I thought I would talk about now, because I talk a lot about, acting, directing, editing, and this is part of editing, production. This is part of production. Streaming is, I consider, production. So sometimes you have to decide what battles you're going to fight. How much is your time worth? Is it worth it trying to use this old technology to do something that I can really do right here on my cell phone? Now I'm talking to you right now on my retired cell phone. I just got a new phone about 6 months ago, and this phone now is my streaming device. And the beauty of it is, sometimes I stream from here at my office, sometimes I stream from my little set that I have upstairs, or I sit out in the backyard or the front porch, or I can just go outside in front of my house wherever I have Wi-Fi access and stream. So I made the decision, and like I said, 10 years ago I wouldn't have been able to make that decision. I always would try to keep going until I solved the problem. Now, if this was an issue where I had to finish something for a client, then yes, I go down that rabbit hole and I keep going and going and going until I find a solution. But this was just a distraction, something that really wasn't going to make any difference. I have multiple new cameras now. I have multiple old cameras that I can use if I want to shoot something. That's why I'm shooting this right now on my T5i, and I haven't shot anything on this camera probably in 15 years. But it's working good, it looks good, and I'm surprised at how good the autofocus still works. So I might still use this to shoot with because it looks so good, and it will allow me to not have to bring my other equipment if I want to shoot something, informational video for you guys for my channel, outside or on the front porch or in my front yard or in the side yard. So I can still use this. It's 1080p. It can shoot in 30 frames, 60 frames per second. So it's a great camera and it's still usable. But I don't want to go through the hassle of trying to make this a web camera, even though I would love to have it as a web camera because the image quality is so much better than, obviously my built-in laptop camera is pathetic, but I usually stream to you guys from my phone. So I was able to pull myself back and stop, which I'm happy, proud of, and decide now, okay, what battle am I going to fight? I have a lot of work to do. Why am I getting into this battle with this 20-year-old camera, trying to make it do something that maybe it really can't do? So I did, though, buy one of those, I guess they're Bluetooth enabled. I haven't opened the box yet. I'll open that tomorrow. I'll look at it. I'll give you guys probably a review tomorrow morning when I do my vertical live stream in the morning. I'll let you know how that new microphone works. Again, I have just been introduced to those Bluetooth enabled microphones. You can plug them to the bottom of an Android. You can plug them into the bottom of a iPhone, or the one I bought. Theoretically, I can plug it into my T5i, and I can have wireless audio. So right now, I'm just using the audio on my cell phone right here, which is my streaming cell phone, and it seems to be working good. I'm also recording audio, which is probably not going to be so great because I have the fan going in the background. I'm recording the behind the scenes on my T5i. I have it over here on a tripod, and I'm recording that back there. Let me pivot and show you. There she is, sitting right back there. That's the old T5i Canon, and I'm really surprised at how well the autofocus is working. Now, I was always one of the photographers who was against autofocus because sometimes when they first came out with it, it was slow, it was clunky, it wasn't as robust as they are nowadays. Even though autofocus here on my phone is great. I have a couple of Sony cameras, FX30, and I also have an older A6500, and their autofocus is beautiful. I use those for my auditions. I use the FX30 for shoots that I go on. I just did a shoot last week with the FX30. So I like the new technology, and I have to resist my temptation to try and battle with almost a 20-year-old camera, 15, 20 years old, to try and see if I can turn it into a webcam. Because what's going to happen is it's going to constantly have problems because you're trying to get it to do something that it wasn't built to do. So there might be a workaround. There might be some of you guys out there who do it, who know how to do it. And if you do, and you feel like shooting me an email, please check in the link below. Shoot me an email or leave some information in the comments. I appreciate that about where I could find it out. But you know what? Don't do it because I'm trying to resist the temptation to try to turn this big camera into a web camera, because then I have to have another thing on my desk. I have to have a small tabletop tripod, and I have to, figure out how I'm going to shoot it. It would be nice. It would be nice. But I think I'm going to be able to still make use of this camera as a camera to shoot content for you guys. I even, about a month ago, pulled out my one of my even older Panasonic cameras with a P2 camera, if any of you remember those. And it still works. I'm glad I didn't sell it. So I love sometimes pulling out the retro gear that I have, shooting content, putting it up here on YouTube. Just, fun. Going back in time to look at all the equipment and remembering how happy I was when I got it and how much money I paid for it. Yeah, how much money I paid for it too. I have to remember that. So I'm going to wrap this up. So again, like I said, I'm shooting this behind the scene thing. I'll probably stick that up tomorrow. And then also, well, live is going up right now. But if you haven't been to my channel, please check it out. You'll see information below how to get there. I'm streaming right here from the channel, so you'll have a link to get to my channel. Check out some of my content. Look at some of my playlists. Subscribe if you like it. Subscribe if you like it. I'd like you to subscribe. And I will see you again in the morning. And you guys have a nice night. One last thing I want to say before I leave. If you're available on Sunday at noon Pacific time, California time, Los Angeles time, that's where I'm located. If you're available at that time, please stop by every Sunday, this coming Sunday and every Sunday. I do a live question and answer. So if you have any questions about acting, directing, or editing, I gear my information mostly to new people who are just starting out in that field and want some advice. Or if you're working on a project, I'm a consultant. So if you're working on a project and you want some advice, I can help, willing to. Stop by on Sunday at noon Pacific time, California time, and join me on the live stream. I appreciate that. So I will see you in the next one.